I have just been priced out of buying eggs.
I just got back from Trader Joe's and my dozen eggs used to cost $3.50 and now they cost $4.99.
By now, you've probably come across quite a few memes and TikToks about the price of eggs.
I'm in the distribution. I'm like Atlantic.
Let's take a look at how eggflation came to be and why you should maybe take a beat before Googling where to buy chickens.
Where'd you get chickens?
Because they got eggs. They lay like 10 eggs already.
In January 2022, an avian flu epidemic broke out. It was the biggest outbreak since 2015, except this outbreak has lasted longer and killed more birds. About 44 million egg-laying hens across 47 U.S. states either died from the flu or were killed to control the spread. By December 2022, a dozen grade A large eggs cost an average of $4.25, more than double what they had cost the December prior. Dominant egg producers pointed to the avian flu, among other reasons, as to why prices rose.
I know I went in there last week and those eggs were $2. Now they $4.
Some grocery stores struggled to keep their shelves filled, and others even started limiting how many eggs customers could buy. Meanwhile, many chose to cope with humor.
How many you need?
2.
I'm gonna do 2 for $5 this time, but after that, can't do it no lower than that. Don't get us caught.
The cost of egg production also rose for several reasons. Russia and Ukraine are major exporters of wheat and grains, which farms use as chicken feed. The war in Ukraine decreased their exports in 2022, which limited supply and drove up prices. And due to inflation, the price of fuel, labor, and packaging also increased. But do all these factors really justify the staggering price increase we saw with eggs? In January 2023, Farm Action, a farmers' advocacy group, sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission urging it to look into price gouging among dominant egg producers.
Oftentimes, companies will use, or the industry will use, supply chain disruption or some occurrence within the supply chain as an actual excuse to go out and excessively increase pricing.
Pointing to data provided by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Farm Action says the impact of the avian flu outbreak on the country's egg-laying hen population may have been overstated.
The reality is that at no time did the number of hens decrease more than 6 to 8% in any given month. The hens that were still producing actually produced more eggs in 2022 per hen than they did the previous year. So what we found was that the net effect was closer to 3 to 4% fewer eggs in the market. It did not justify a 138% increase in the price of eggs at the grocery store to the consumers.
Cal-Maine Foods, the largest egg producer in the U.S., saw record profits in 2022. Their egg prices had increased along with the prices of other eggs on the market, but none of Cal-Maine's facilities ever reported an outbreak of the avian flu.
You would expect then that they would be in a great position to increase production, to stay the dominant firm. But why should they? No incentive for them, if they can get away with price gouging, to even try to balance the supply for the American consumer. One of the notes that the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, noted in August of 2022 was that egg prices were high. They expected, as the economy, a market dynamic would indicate, that somebody would come in and have more hens, laying more eggs, and take that market share. So if Cal-Maine just stayed too high in the market, somebody would take that share away. But we did not see that in the market either. Therefore, that's a trigger to say possible tacit collusion, for which the Federal Trade Commission Act in the United States says is illegal.
So, was there foul play? That's for the FTC to look into. But in the meantime, things are looking up. According to recent data, egg prices dropped over 50% since the start of 2023. And if you've been thinking about buying chickens to save on the cost of eggs, you're not alone. In interviews with the New York Times, several hatcheries reported higher demand from first-time buyers due to egg prices. But it's important to know that hens only start laying eggs at about 6 months of age, and that raising chickens comes with its own set of costs.
Those farm fresh eggs, they ain't free. Have to put them in a coop, right? So that costs money. And you have to feed them, obviously. Electricity, because it does get cold and the water will freeze. And your time. Your time is money, people.